So today we'll be starting with the 10th chapter in social science, and that is the organs of the government. There are three organs of the government. The legislature. The legislature is the one who makes the law. The execute. Execute meaning the one who implements the law. For example, we have the police, okay, we have army who makes sure that law and order is maintained. Legislature is the parliament who makes the law, okay. And judiciary is the court who protects the law, okay. So makes the law, okay, the one who implements the laws, and the one who protects the laws. We shall study in detail the formation of all these three organs, their powers, their functions, and their interpersonal relations. So in this chapter we'll study these three organs, how they are related to one another, how do they work, what are their functions, etc. One of the main objectives of the nation is to maintain law and order and thereby achieve the welfare of the nation. So one of the main objective of any nation is to make sure that law and order is maintained in the society, and the nation moves forward and the nation develops. At the same time, nurture and protect the freedom and fundamental rights. At the same time, their duty is to make sure that they protect the people and that the people get the basic fundamental rights. For the progressive development of state, it is necessary that all three organs of the government, viz. the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, work in mutual unity, cooperation, and coordination. So, for any country to function properly, for any country to move properly, it is very necessary that these three organs, that is the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, they work in coordination, that is they work together, they work independently, and to make sure that they protect the people, so that the government can run the administration effectively and efficiently. Administration એટલે so that they can run the country in the most effective way, in a most appropriate way. The legislature frames the laws, okay. I told you already, the legislature is the one who makes the laws. The execute implements the framed law. Execute means they implement or they make sure that people follow law and order. For example, your police system. And judiciary maintains the law and order by punishing the people who violate them. You know that there are courts, there are high court, supreme court, there are local courts which are there in the country, which makes sure that they protect this law, and whoever breaks the law, that those people get punished. The legislature, as per the Constitution of India, consists of the parliament at the center and legislative assemblies at the state level. So who all are included in legislative assembly? The parliament, which is there at the central government, okay. You all might have seen the ministers who work with Modi, they are the parliament, okay. And at the state level, let's say at Gujarat level, at every state level, they have small legislative assemblies who also protect the laws, okay. Because obviously one government cannot one government cannot handle the whole nation. If you can't expect Modi to look into Gujarat also and Maharashtra also and everybody's problems, right? So we have small governments at every level, like at every state level. The execute, as per the constitution, consists of president, the prime minister, the cabinet minister. So execute, who are the executioners? You have the president, the prime minister, and his cabinet of ministers. At the central, and the governor and the chief ministers and the cabinet at the state level. So at state level, whom do you have? You have the governor, the chief minister, and his ministers. While at the central government, you have the prime minister, you have the president and his cabinet or the members of the minister. Whereas the judiciary, the Supreme Court is at the top. Who is at the top? Supreme Court. In the middle, you have the High Court of all the states, and in the bottom you have the subordinate court. Subordinate meaning small other courts, like you have family courts, okay, district courts which are there at district level, and then you have something called as special courts. Thus the judiciary is separate, independent, and the organized whole, which is completely apart from legislature and executive. So what they are saying, that judiciary works in independence, okay. They do not work with legislator and executive, they work independently. If they even find that government people are corrupted, then they do take actions against them also, okay. So that is why judiciary is independent. India is a union of state. No state is completely independent and sovereign. What they are trying to say is that in India we have many states. Now it's not like all that the state can say that I am going to work independently, I am not going to work with coordination with the central government. No, they have to work in coordination with the central government. The Indian parliamentary system has divided the powers according to the principle of division of powers between center and state. So powers, the duties, the jobs have been divided between the central government and the state government, such that the legislature and executive is totally independent of each other. So what they are trying to say is legislature, executive and judiciary, all three of them, they work in independence with each other. Okay, whereas the judiciary is separate, independent and impartial organ. Okay, if you go to the court for justice, the court cannot say that you are rich so I will give you I'll favor you, you are poor so I'll not favor you. No, whoever has broken the law, the court punishes, even if it is prime minister or president or whoever you are punished. Okay, the principle of division of powers. The government carries out the functions of the state as these are different from each other. The function of all the three organs of the government are different, and all the functions require certain expertise. So what they are saying that these three organs are there at every level, at state level, at central level, every level these organs are there, and people who are expert in these areas get selected. Meaning, let's say that I get selected for executive level, so I am an expert in that level, that is why I got selected. ऐसे ही randomly कोई रास्ते से उठा के किसी को executive, legislature, judiciary में नहीं डाल देंगे ना. Qualification चाहिए रहता है, you have to have degree, you have to have experience, you have to have things like that in order to reach a certain position. So all these three organs which are there, okay, they work in coordination with each other. All of them have their own functions and duties and everything. All the three organs of the government should be administered by different people, and each organ should carry out its own function. So what they are saying, all the three organs have the people working in it, okay, and they make sure that they carry out their functions well. By division of powers, misuse can be avoided. If you divide the power equally among all, then people will not misuse their power. Okay, it is necessary to divide the powers among the three organs of the government in order to make the function of the government easy and effective. So what they are saying that it is very necessary that we divide the power among the people. We divide the power among these three organs, so that these three organs can function properly, these three organs can work properly. For example, the legislature has the power to formulate the laws, but some powers are so given to the executive and judiciary that legislature cannot misuse the power. Now they are saying that the legislature's job is to make rules and regulations. But even if they make rules and regulations, they are watched over, or they are, let's say कि those laws, those rules and regulations, they pass through the executive, they pass through the judiciary. Okay, and after executive and judiciary approve those laws, then only that law comes into the society. So that is how the power is maintained. Otherwise, if total power you give it to someone, then people will do what they want to do, right? For example, let's say you have a class monitor. હવે એ class monitor ને teacher કાંઈ પૂછે નહીં, કાંઈ કરે નહીં, કાંઈ ન કરે, તો what will the class monitor do? Punish whoever she wants to, will do whatever she wants to do. Okay, she will do whatever she likes. But since she has a fear that I have to answer my class teacher, I have to answer the principal, so that is why the monitor makes sure that she is not, that she treats everybody equally, or that she doesn't misuse her power. Okay, similarly, the executive is controlled by giving power to legislature and judiciary. Similarly, executive is controlled by legislature and judiciary is controlled by giving powers to legislature and executive. So what they are saying कि legislature ની ऊपर कौन ध्यान रखे? executive અને judiciary. executive ऊपर कौन ध्यान रखे? judiciary and legislator. judiciary ऊपर कौन ध्यान रखे? and executive. So by doing that, nobody misuses their power, because they know that there is somebody watching over us. If we do some mistake, we will be thrown out or we will be punished. Okay, so that is why you have that. Legislature. India is a republic having parliamentary democracy. We already discussed this. The representative of the people is at the center. So people we vote for, they form the government at the center, which is at Delhi, which is seen at the parliament, and the state is at the legislative assembly. So at the center you have the parliament, and every state has their own legislative assemblies. The parliament is an important apex organization of the nation. So apex એટલે topmost organization of the nation is the parliament, which is at the center. The Indian parliament consists of president, the vice president, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. So at the parliament, who all are there? You have the president, you have the vice president, you have the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Okay. Legislature is of two types. Now there are two types of legislature. First is unicameral legislatures. When the legislature consisting of one house, it is called unicameral legislature. So this is at the state government. When there is one house, okay, at that time you will call it unicameral. Bicameral. When the legislature consists of two houses. When there are two houses, then it is called as bicameral. When there is one house, it is called as unicameral. This is usually seen at the state government. At the parliament, we already have Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Every state, okay, see, in Gujarat, we have only legislative assembly, okay. So that is, in Gujarat, we have unicameral legislature, but lot of states in India have bicameral. So amuk states in India have unicameral, amuk states in India have bicameral, depending on how big the state is. Let's say the state is really huge, so that time you have bicameral, okay. At the central level, the upper house of the legislature is called the Rajya Sabha. So at the central or the state government, at the Delhi government, you have the upper house, which is called as Rajya Sabha, and the lower house, which is called as the Lok Sabha. At state level, the legislature consists of legislative assembly and legislative councils. So at the state level, which houses do we have? Legislative assembly and legislative councils. Most of the state has only legislative assemblies. I told you, most of the states in India are unicameral, which have only legislative assembly. Big states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra have legislative councils too. Because these states are big, that is why they have legislative council. Baki most of the states in India are unicameral, that is, we have only one house, that is the legislative assembly. Legislature at the central level, Parliament and Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is the lower house of the Parliament. So Lok Sabha is the lower house which is there in the Parliament. The members of the Lok Sabha are representative of the people who are elected through direct election. So who all sit in the Lok Sabha? The people whom we have voted for. Okay, the people whom we vote for are the people who represent us at the state level. Okay. There are total 545 members of Lok Sabha. Out of 545, 2 members are selected by the president from Anglo-Indian community. So total how many people are there in the Lok Sabha? 545. Out of these 545, 2 members are selected by the president from Anglo-Indian community. Anglo-Indian community એટલે Indian અને British ના mix હોય ને એને Anglo-Indian કહેવાય. So બે લોકો એવા president ખુદ choose કરે, okay? બાકી all the people are elected. President is the part of the parliament. Okay, so president is the part of the parliament which consists of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The president addresses the first meeting of the parliament and joint session of the parliament. So president, he addresses or he speaks to the people in the first session and during the session when both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is sitting. So at that time president talks to the people. Beside these two occasions, the president never attends the parliament. પ્રેસિડેન્ટનો જોબ છે ને બહુ મામૂલી છે, ઓકે, એ કાંઈ એનો કાંઈ એટલો ઇમ્પોર્ટન્સ નથી. ઇન્ડિયામાં વધારે ઇમ્પોર્ટન્સ આપણે પ્રાઇમ મિનિસ્ટરને આપીએ છીએ, પણ રિસ્પેક્ટ વધારે આપણે પ્રેસિડેન્ટને આપીએ છીએ. ગેટ ઇટ? ઓકે, સો પ્રેસિડેન્ટ ડઝ નોટ અટેન્ડ મીટિંગ એટ ઓલ. હી ઓનલી અટેન્ડ્સ મીટિંગ વેન દેર ઇઝ અ જોઈન્ટ સેશન એન્ડ વેન ઇટ્સ ધ ફર્સ્ટ સેશન. ઓકે, ધ પ્રેસિડેન્ટ can summon both the houses of the parliament, can withhold the proceedings of both the houses of the parliament and can even dissolve the parliament. So the job, so president can summon meaning can call the meeting of both the houses of the parliament. Okay, he can withhold meaning he can pause the proceeding meaning working of the both the houses of the parliament. If he feels that the working of the parliament is not going properly in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, he can pause the working of both the houses of the parliament. He can even dissolve the parliament. Dissolve the parliament meaning he can remove the people out from the parliament. A bill which has been passed through 3 readings in both the houses of the parliament can become an act only after the president signs. So how does a law become? Law first starts in Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha માં ડિસ્કસ થઈને ઈ law રાજ્યસભામાં જાય. રાજ્યસભામાં ઈ વસ્તુ law ડિસ્કસ થઈને પછી પ્રેસિડેન્ટ પાસે જાય. જ્યારે પ્રેસિડેન્ટ સાઇન કરે ત્યારે ઈ વસ્તુ law બને. So before that thing is a law, it is called a bill. Okay, so bill first starts in Lok Sabha, then goes in Rajya Sabha, and then it goes to the president. So only a bill can become a law, or it can become an act when the president has signed it. Lok Sabha is not a permanent house. Okay, Lok Sabha is not a permanent house because people get elected. It is there for the term of 5 years. Lok Sabha sits for the term of 5 years if it is not dissolved before the compliance of the term. So sometimes what happens કે ઘણીવાર ગવર્મેન્ટ તૂટી જાય તો 5 વર્ષ પહેલા તે લોકસભા ડિઝોલ્વ થઈ શકે, પણ મોસ્ટલી લોકસભા remains for the period of 5 years. Constitution of India is supreme and not the parliament. Remember, topmost position માં who is there? The Constitution of India. Above the Constitution, not even the parliament can talk, okay? Hence, the parliament has enjoyed its power within the limits of the prescribed constitution. So, constitution tells us what are the powers of the parliament, what work can parliament do, and the parliament has to follow the constitution. If the laws framed by the parliament violates the constitution, they can be challenged in the court. Let's say if you personally feel that a particular law or a particular act is not according to the Constitution of India, you can go to Supreme Court and challenge the law, and you can say that to remove of that law. If you feel it is against the Constitution, you have to prove it how it is against the Constitution, okay? If the 4 courts find that the framed law against the provision of the Constitution, the court can nullify the law. If the Supreme Court feels if a particular law, if a particular act is against the government, okay, or against India, then it can nullify or invalid a particular law. Qualification of the members of the Lok Sabha. To be qualified, meaning how can you become a member of Lok Sabha? To be qualified as a candidate or to be elected as a member of Lok Sabha, he or she has to be citizen of India. So if you want to stand in election, if you want to let's say compete, okay, if you want to go into Lok Sabha, first of all you have to be the citizen of India. Should be 25 years of age or more. Your age should be 25 years or more. He or she should have never been have an unsound mind or insolvent. Insolvent meaning your mind should be present, you should be intelligent, you shouldn't be mentally retarded. That is what it's trying to say. He or she should not be an employee of the central or the state government. So you should not be working with the central government or the state government, okay? If you are working, you have to leave your job and then stand for elections, okay? You can't hold 2 positions. ઓકે એક સાથે એવું ન બની શકે કે તમે લોકસભાના મેમ્બર બી છો અને સુપ્રીમ કોર્ટના જજ બી છો, એવું ન થઈ શકે. You have to leave your job if you want to stand for elections. He must not be proven a criminal. You should not be a criminal. You should not have a criminal record. There should be a period of 6 months between 2 sittings of the parliament. Okay, don't do that. Don't do this line. A president can dissolve the Lok Sabha and can on the council of Prime Minister. If the Prime Minister tells the president ke dissolve the Lok Sabha, remove of the Lok Sabha, the president will do so. A member of any house of the parliament can attend the proceedings of that house and can vote in the same house. So let's say if I am a member of Lok Sabha, then I can sit in all the meetings of Lok Sabha and I can give my vote in Lok Sabha. If I am member of Rajya Sabha, I can meet in the meetings of Rajya Sabha and વોટ ઇન રાજ્યસભા. હવે એવું ન થઈ શકે કે હું રાજ્યસભાની મેમ્બર છું પણ લોકસભામાં વોટ કરું છું. નો. ઇફ યુ આર અ મેમ્બર ઓફ રાજ્યસભા, યુ કેન વોટ ઇન રાજ્યસભા. ઇફ યુ આર મેમ્બર ઇન લોકસભા, યુ કેન વોટ ઇન લોકસભા. But a member of cabinet minister can attend proceedings of both the houses of the parliament, even if he or she is not the member of Lok Sabha. Let us say you are a cabinet minister. Cabinet minister meaning, let's say the prime minister has given you are working with the prime minister. Like let's say you are an educational minister, or let's say you are a defense minister. So even if you are not in Lok Sabha, you can sit in Lok Sabha. Okay. So this is what it is. Okay, so prime minister has his minister. The prime minister selects his ministers who work for him. Like you have the educational minister, you have women empowerment minister, you have finance minister, you have agricultural ministers. So આ બધા જે લોકો છે ને એ એના કેબિનેટ છે. ઓકે, હવે even if you're not a member of Lok Sabha but you are in cabinet minister, then even then you can sit in Lok Sabha ka meeting and you can vote. State of Gujarat has a representative of 26 members in Lok Sabha. So in Lok Sabha from Gujarat, how many members are there? 26 members. The term of Lok Sabha is of 5 years. Okay, 5 years. But the president can dissolve it beforehand and if needed in case of national emergency. Let's say the nation goes in the state of national emergency. So the president can dissolve the Lok Sabha or can remove off the Lok Sabha. The term of Lok Sabha can be extended for 1 more year. So let's say 5 years are over, so you can extend the working of Lok Sabha for 1 more year. એનેથી વધારે નહીં. If the president dissolves the parliament, it cannot be challenged in the court. Let's say the president himself dissolves the Lok Sabha, you cannot challenge it in the court. Quorum. Quorum is the number of members present in the house of the parliament. It is the number of members present and working in the house out of the total numbers of members of the house. So quorum is that the basic amount of members who should be sitting in a parliament or who should be working in the parliament. For example, if you give an exam, you give a test, તમારે passing marks હોય, right? You have a certain number જેનેથી તમે પાસ થઈ જાઓ, right? તો એ number you have to have that particular, let's say 50 માંથી 18 is a passing marks, 18 થી નીચે you are failed, 18 થી ઉપર you are passed, but 18 is that borderline marks. Okay, so similarly even in parliament there is this basic number of people who should be sitting in the parliament to make sure that the parliament works. Okay, let's say if that numbers are not there, then parliament cannot work. The minimum quorum of Lok Sabha should be 1/10, that is 545 members, 55 should be present similarly. So what they are saying in Lok Sabha, 1/10 of its members should be present to make sure that the Lok Sabha is working. So 1/10 of 545 makes it 55. So out of 545, at least 55 members should be sitting in the parliament to make sure that the parliament is working. Similarly, the minimum quorum of Rajya Sabha is 1/10 of 250 members. Okay, total strength Rajya Sabha is 250 members. So 1/10 of 250 members is 25 should be present in Rajya Sabha to make sure that Rajya Sabha is working properly. And in Lok Sabha, how many? 55 members should be there. I will pause here for today.